Right, as you can see from the thumbnail, we've got stuff to fit onto this bike. Obviously my last video was like, oh, we've got to redo it. Yes, it was a bit of a pain, but we took the old bars off. As you can see, I've already put the black ones on. They're all fitted, they're nice. I've already taken off the wolf tooth bottle cage as well that we've fitted on, so we've now got the original Marin one on there that's been powder coated black. So we can start now putting all the handlebars back on. I just look at it this way. At least I didn't get to the part where I was cabling it before the change was then made. So I think the black bars with all the black Marin writing and the logos look really nice. Obviously nice straight bars as well. So we can start putting stuff on. So obviously, as you saw from the last video, we have got the new old stock Dior shifters, thumb shifters. Obviously we've got the X-Lite drumsticks as well, which are very nice. So we'll start obviously getting all these on and start making some magic happen. So let's pop some bits on. So what we'll do is we'll just slide everything on nice and easy, not force it. So we'll loosen off some of these bits. To be fair, I think we'll have to fit the actual thumb shifters first, to be fair, because it's the older stuff. So well, let's get the thumb shifters on. Some nice clickage there. Do like a bit of nice clickage. So obviously once thumb shifters are on, we can then get the levers on, get the grips on, and then we can pop on the crank, because the crank's all done. So let's find my screwdriver. Here we are. And I will say it is about 2 PM in the UK, and the sun's out. The thing is, the sun's out. Alright, the sun's out, the sun's shining, but it's bloody cold. It's bloody cold. Now I know as in the UK we do like to complain about the weather, and we haven't got it as bad as, you know, America and Canada and places like that, but I'd probably say we moan about, as British moan about the weather, just because we're not acclimatised to it, and a bit of cold, that's it, the whole thing goes to crap and so on. So I won't push these two too far on, because I don't want to mark any bars. So now I will say as well, I appreciate everyone that's coming back and following these bikes and these journeys, and you know, watching them be built up, and you know, it's just I really enjoy it, bringing these old things back to life, giving them a new lease of life, and I'm glad there's people out there that still enjoy it as well in terms of riding these bikes. Because you've got to think, back in the day, these was like creme de la creme, these was. So these X-Lite shifters, levers, even though I've loosened, like they're loosened off completely, the bolts, they're a bit tight putting on these bars. Maybe it's because the brand new, no old stock and all that, but there is a little burr just on that end as well. So what I will do is, I've got a pipe tool there, and what we'll do, so I'll just run that round once. Just in one direction, and I'll do this side as well, so just turn in one direction. And all that's doing, just cleaning off any sharp bits on those edges. So that's that. Alright. So that should now hopefully let us get this lever on just that little bit easier. There we are. That was a bit easier. Alright, so let's make sure I don't want to push these too far down the bar, so I'm going to want to put these grips back on first, just before, and then I can work out the spacing of the actual levers and so on. So what I might do is, when I edit this video, I'll probably speed this bit up anyway, just so you guys on watching me just put stuff on for ages and ages and ages. But I will say I'm looking forward to it. So we use a bit of alcohol fluid, just a bit of a dribble down there, just in order to alleviate some of that pressure and put the grips on. And what it will do, as that alcohol evaporates, those grips will be nice and tight on the bar as well. So that's one. A little bit in that one. Molly, I'll let you in a second. Sorry, that's my dog. She wants to go in the house. Let her in the house shortly. Alright, so that's them right up to the end. Make sure your logo's pretty much where you want them, nice and equal on both sides. Because like I say, once the alcohol dries, these will be very tight to the bar, and trying to force them and turn them when they've dried off could result in obviously tearing the actual thing. So get all these generic lined up position, same with the shifters as well. Make sure they're not making contact with anything. And obviously, as you remember, these old school shifters use a bolt in terms of like a socket, and they do have a screwdriver head as well. So we'll just nip them up ever so slightly with a screwdriver, just so they're not constantly moving around. There we are. So they're on. Levers are generally okay for now. Oh yeah, that needs to be a bit tighter just so it's not moving. That'll be alright for now. Alright, so that's looking good. So looks more retro, don't it, that? Look at that compared to what it did look like. Obviously there's nothing wrong with how it looked like. The shifter, the XT shifter combination was, you know, absolutely mint. You know, again, new old stock, really good condition. But I think these are just more in keeping with obviously the DX Mex and so on the bike. So that's the handlebars on. Handlebars on, new levers, new shifters, the grips are on. So what we'll do now is we'll put the chain set on and the front mech. So join me back in a sec. I'll flip the camera around. Alright, so we've obviously got the nice clean shiny crank that we polished up as well. It's going to look nice. That can just go straight on. So push that on. I have already done the Invisiframe as well. I did the Invisiframe, as I said on the video this morning. Wasn't going to go through it all with you again. So I'll just nip that bolt up. And then our shiny crank on there. So that can also go on. There we are. Right, just nip that bolt up as well. There we go. Right. Now we can torque this up. So square taper, 40 newtons and newton meters, should I say. So I'll set that. There's one. There's two. Don't forget, always wind off your torque wrench. That's done. Right, let's get the front mech on. So again, nice shiny Dior mech, Dior DX. So keeping it in keeping with the bike. And get this on as well. So let's line this up. Now you want to get this as straight as possible, and don't kind of like try and drag it up and down the frame, because that's not what you want. You kind of want to set it so you've got a 3mm gap. So when that's indexed, you've got a 3mm gap from the top of the tooth to the bottom of the ridge of that mech, and you want it so when it indexes, it's nice and straight to the actual chain ring, so it's flat and flat. So we'll get this bolted up. I do apologise about the angle, the camera. So, snip that up a slight little bit. So I can just move that around just a little bit, just so I can make those fine tweaks. And obviously when that's indexed, it's that gap I'm looking for. So, I can move that down ever so slightly. There we are, looks like we're getting that gap. There. Tiny bit more. Perfect. And then as you look from the top, kind of want that nice and straight as well, which I'll give you a close-up on all this in a second. So, there we are. Right, so let's give you a close. So that's all on. Obviously, so what I was talking about is when you look from the top, when this mech is indexed, you want that in line with that chain ring. You also want it, so when that's indexed there, you have got that gap as well, clearing it. So the action of that is actually really beautiful, to be fair. Feels amazing. And then obviously you can see we've got the Marin specific bottle cage, and then we've got all of the new shifters on, all lined up and set up. So that's going to be really, really nice when that's on. Obviously we still got to do set up the canters, get the wheels on. I've already cleaned up everything, so that's already just start being all set up. So in terms of the bike, what we'll do now is we will get the wheels on, because then once the wheels are on, we can pretty much do the chain. So that's going sweet. Right, so obviously we've got the wheels. These are the awesome Mavic on the original Mavic rims, with the Dior LX old school hubs, all perfect, mint. Obviously again, front is running the Panaracer Dart tyre, keeping it classic, So we've got the old Novatec skewers in there. I'll whip them bad boys out. And then we'll stick that on there, because if you watched my last video and you saw the short, you'll see that you've got some amazing original Shimano ones. So we're going to pop these on. Make sure you get your springs in the right position. So let's get this on, then we can get the front wheel on. And then after the front wheel, I think after the front wheel, I'm actually going to go for my tea. Yeah, have some vegetables. So we'll get that on. Oh, they look so much better, they do. Always make sure you've got your skewer in a closed up position as well. So don't sit it against the fork where it's actually not locking out properly or doing anything like that. You want that nice and tight. Not super tight, so you're crushing it, but tight enough, tight enough. So, there we are. Oh, that just looks so much better. A lot more retro, keeping it in fashion, keeping it looking classic. The wheels are all true, running nice. So we're not far. I think I'm going to run in and have my dinner. Alright, I'm back. Had lunch, dinner, tea, whichever. So I thought I might as well come out and put the chain on. So we're going with KMC. Put the back wheel in, also put the skewer in as well. So might as well put the chain on, and then all that's left on the bike is cables and a final check, really, and a good setup, good run through. So we'll open this, and again, nice shiny new silver chain. So we'll get this on. Let's take out those little rolls there. So let's be careful with the frame. Drop that on that lowest cog. We'll post that through the front. Drop that onto that small cog as well. Just there. So again, because it's split link, we'll rough fit this and then double check to make sure it's got the clearance. Always make sure you go in above that little tab on the rear mech as well. Otherwise, if you do it wrong, for example, if you go around it like that and you pull that down, that chain is going to sit on that little tab and it will make noise. So it's got to go over and through that little tab there, and then come down and around, making sure it's all sitting on fine. Here we are. So we'll go small to small. We'll put just a little bit of tension on it to start off with. So, and we'll make sure that it's not grinding on the bottom of that derailleur. And then what we'll do is then when I've got the gears on, I'll go big to big, and again, obviously big to big, small to small, the old cross gears. Molly, what are you doing out there? Dog's gone crazy. So yeah, you don't want to cross gears, but it does happen from time to time. So you don't want to make the chain too short that if you do, for example, going big to big, you're just going to rip that rear end apart and just cause all kinds of mayhem. So we'll get a good set on there. So that's fine. So that one will be too, I think I might put it there for now, but likelihood is I'm going to end up dropping another link out. So I'll set it there to begin with, and then that way the chain's on, it's out of the way, and then when we do our final adjustments and check, we can just adjust this split link, take it off, take another link out, and then basically refit it. So there is a correct procedure in regards to fitting chains, but with the older stuff and obviously different ratios and so on, it's a bit of a ball ache, but when you've been doing it a while, you can kind of just see how it's supposed to work and so on. So let's click that together. There we are. So looking down the back, that doesn't look too bad. That looks like it's nice and in line on the back there. So here we are. That is definitely going to need another link taken out. That's going to make contact with the bottom of there if you're in small and small. So it should be more like that. So we'll take a link out of that and take a link out, and then yeah, we'll crack on with the rest then. The dog has absolutely lost it. Just running around the garden going mad. Well, I should do it for today. I know I'm doing in a bit. I might come out and do a bit more. Start cabling up and so on. I always find it hard to... How do you film something like cabling? Because you need both hands to cable. Yeah. Think about that one. So, yeah. Join me back for the next one. Thanks for tuning in today. And if it is your first time on the channel, please feel free to smash that subscribe button, leave a like. It does help the channel out and helps me grow. Leave a comment as well. Have a good day. See you.